What is up, cool collector guys? Today there's going to be the Demogorgon fighting versus the Demogorgon from Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things. I know both of them are kind of, they're basically pretty similar, except one is stronger. Post your prediction right now in the comments to see who you think would win. Now, we're going to address how their height and all their basic stuff and their size. So let's start the video up. So addressing the Demogorgon from Stranger Things height is not too shockingly only 7 feet tall. It's not crazy, not any shocking anything. But now let's get to the DandD Demogorgon. And I'm just going to refer to the Stranger Things Demogorgon as ST because it's just too long. And then the Dungeons & Dragons Demogorgon as DandD. So let's go to the Dungeons & Dragons. So now moving on to the Dungeons & Dragons / DandD Demogorgon. He is, once again, shockingly and crazily, like I expected him to be like 10 to 15 feet tall. He's actually only 7 feet tall. It's crazy. And I checked in the monster manual and it didn't really say anything. It was sort of just a quick summarization of the Demogorgon, and well, not very quick. But it did not say anything about height. And then on Google it said he was 7 feet tall. So it's actually pretty strange, but now let's move on. So these are the game rules. There will be no living things that will be able to attack them, and there will be in just their environments. And then there will be 4 rounds. First is in the Demogorgons upside down. Second is in the Demogorgons deep dark, and then third is in an area they do not are familiar with. Number 4 is in a plain white room. So now let's get on to the fight. So now let's move on to the Demogorgon versus the Demogorgon. So it starts off. The DandD is confused. He looks up at the bright red sky with thunder hitting the ground. Boom, boom. Then he hears a screech. He quickly looks around and his gaze looks down at the Demogorgon. He attempts to stun it until he realizes this thing does not see. And there really is no way to use its gaze in this fight. The Demogorgon from ST leaps at the DandD and grabs and attempts to slash at him, raising its hand in the air, but then just gets thrown and whacked on the ground. Then the DandD starts walking up to the ST and attempts to bite into it, but when the DandD gets all close up in the ST's face, it slashes the face. This really angers the DandD and just simply picks it up with its 2 tentacles, hands, just like sort of whacking it over to the side. Now the ST is at this point pretty beat up, but after this point I think it would go and just try and simply slash, but then it'd try and jump up, but it wouldn't even get that. It would get far and would be able to sort of just slash at the DandD's face and would hit it in the face. But once again, the DandD would just simply, I picture it just grabbing and by its both arms and bites in and has Thanksgiving. Now, let's move on. So, now it's in the deep dark. Starts off. The Demogorgon. It looks up, and it's very dark, but not much of an issue. I mean, it's not like it can see. So it goes. Then it hears the roar of the Demogorgon. It stomps. Boom. Boom. It once again uses its gaze, looking down. And then the DandD realizes it cannot use its gaze because the ST is blind. So the ST quickly leaps up at the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon really does not care and hits it over, causing it to almost fall off a ledge. But the DandD runs over to it, picks it up with its tentacles. Now the ST raises its claw and slashes the DandD's hand or little tentacle off. This really angers the DandD, and the DandD goes down and it tries to bite in. It tries to bite into the ST's head, and then but the ST quickly goes and it starts slashing at the DandD's face. This really angers it, and once again it will whack the Demogorgon, the ST, into a pit where it falls down, and you can hear it screeching as it falls to the bottomless pit. So that's what I think would happen if the Demogorgon fought the ST in the deep dark. Now let's move on to the next one in the unknown environment. So this will take place in the unknown environment of both the Demogorgon from ST and DandD. So it starts off, they both look at each other. They look down. Well, of course, the ST can't see, so it just sort of has its face move a little. It immediately somehow sees the DandD, I guess, and leaps towards it. The DandD does not take any chances and whacks it into a pile of rocks. This causes a mini avalanche. Not too big, just a few rocks fall into the ST's face and all over it. It screeches in pain. The DandD does not take a chance at this and quickly goes and attacks it. The ST is only able to do a few scratches, hitting one of the DandD's eyes, but it eventually consumes and has a mini Thanksgiving. Starts off, the Demogorgon looks at the Demogorgon. The ST leaps towards the DandD. The DandD does not take any chances, wiping the ST out and further away from where they first walked in. The ST does not take any chances and tries to walk up so it cannot be pounced on. And the DandD notices this and quickly runs over as fast as he can and once again whacks it with his tentacle. Now this has left the ST so beaten up that it's not able to get fast enough, and the DandD just sort of walks over towards the ST and lifts it up with its tentacle. And the DandD is scratched a few times by the ST, but not enough to cut it off, because the ST is so beat up. So the ST is disoriented because he was whacked so hard that left him disoriented. Well, the ST attempts to sort of wiggle out, but the DandD does not let this happen, and it has a Thanksgiving. I would like to thank you for watching to the end. Bye, Cool Collector guys.